you're grinding ranked right now, you've probably noticed the same two SMGs in every lobby, the Switchblade X9 and the QQ9 10mm. That's not a coincidence. Pros started running them in competitive and it bled straight into ranked. Garena, EU, CDM, same two guns, and now everyone copies them without asking why. But there's one SMG that wins more real gunfights than either of them, with no trade-offs, and almost nobody is running it. Today we're pulling the actual numbers on all three, head-to-head, millisecond by millisecond. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which gun you should be running, and why the one you're using right now might be costing you fights. Even CDM pros tried running the VMP and still went back. Their reasoning? The QQ9 10mm kills faster. Nobody questioned it, but if you've been paying attention in ranked, you've seen it. The occasional VMP user who somehow wins fights they shouldn't be winning. That VMP user isn't getting lucky, they're running the statistically better gun. The Switchblade X9 is the comfortable pick. It moves fast, it sounds clean, it feels responsive. But feelings aren't data, and the data disagrees with all of them. From 0 to 13 meters, the VMP kills 30 milliseconds faster. That's the difference between trading kills and dying while your opponent walks away full health. At the range where most hardpoint fights happen, the VMP just wins. From 13 to 21 meters, the gap gets worse. VMP wins by 40 milliseconds. This is where you're holding lanes, fighting over domination flags, rotating into hardpoint. The range you actually play most is the range the Switchblade X9 loses worst. The Switchblade X9 gets one window, 21 to 23 meters, 2 meters where it wins by 13 milliseconds. That's the distance from one side of a doorway to the other. Beyond 23, the VMP takes over again by 30 to 50 milliseconds. And it's just not the time to kill. The VMP's ADS time is 182 versus 228 milliseconds on the Switchblade X9. That's what it feels like switching from a kitted AR to a naked SMG. The VMP is already aiming down sights while the Switchblade X9 is still raising. Sprint to fire is faster too. So in a panic gunfight where both players come around the same corner at the same time, the VMP is shooting first every time. Recoil, the VMP goes straight up. Predictable, easy to pull down and track. The Switchblade X9 pulls up and to the right. Not uncontrollable, but not cleaner than the VMP either. BSA is 24 versus 25, so the VMP's bullets land more consistently where you aim. Flinch is 0.78 versus 0.85, which means when you get hit by a Switchblade X9 user, your screen barely shakes on the VMP while theirs is bouncing. Your follow-up shots stay on target while theirs are bouncing. So what does the Switchblade X9 actually do better? It moves. 6.78 meters per second sprint versus 6.37 meters per second on the VMP. 4.5 meters per second strafe versus 4.14 meters per second. That's roughly 6% faster sprinting, 8% faster strafing. You'll rotate between objectives faster and jiggle peak slightly wider. But faster legs don't help you when your hands are slower. If you want to win the gunfight when you get there, you need the VMP. If you want to get there first and hope the positioning makes up the difference, the Switchblade X9 gives you that. The VMP gives you everything else. The QQ9 with 10mm rounds has a 3-shot kill up to 18 meters, 158 milliseconds. That is the fastest consistent kill time on any SMG in the game right now. And it's not new. This gun has been doing this since April 2023. Against the VMP, the QQ9 10mm wins from 0 all the way out to 27 meters. Not by a little. From 13 to 18 meters, the QQ9 10mm kills 90 milliseconds faster. That's almost half a gunfight's worth of time just gone. From 21 to 27, it still wins by 70 milliseconds. Against the Switchblade X9, it's a blowout. QQ9 10mm wins by 50 milliseconds at close range, 120 milliseconds at mid-range, and holds the lead all the way to 27 meters. The Switchblade X9 only takes over beyond that, which is a range where neither SMG should be fighting anyway. So why isn't the QQ9 10mm the answer? 30 rounds, that's 2.3 seconds of continuous fire. One extended fight where your first few bullets miss. One trade where an enemy stumbles into your reload. One chaotic respawn rotation where 3 players push you at once, and you're standing there for 1.3 seconds with nothing. In fast respawns on open maps, you will run dry. Outside of raw time to kill, the QQ9 10mm and VMP are actually closer than you'd think. Their ADS plus sprint to fire time is basically even. Strafe speed is nearly identical. The VMP has the edge in handling, better BSA, better flinch, smoother recoil, better iron sights, and the largest mag of all three at 52 rounds with a 1 second half reload. In Search and Destroy, the mag limitation disappears. You're taking one fight, maybe 2 per round. On slower maps like Hacienda or Takeoff or Arsenal, you have time to reload between engagements. You can't play around the 30-round mag the same way you'd play around a sniper's bolt cycle. That's where the QQ9 10mm earns its spot. Think of it like an HVK30 for SMGs. Absurd damage output with a built-in restriction that forces you to play a certain way. A specialist that demolishes everything when the conditions line up, but only when the conditions line up. 2 of these 3 guns have an honest case. The QQ9 10mm kills fastest with a real trade-off. The VMP wins most engagements with no trade-off. The Switchblade X9 is coasting. The VMP has one build. Any other combination makes it worse, no debate. The Switchblade X9 has minor flexibility. Swap the monolithic suppressor for a tactical if you want better BSA instead of range. Or swap the skeleton stock for a light stock to improve accuracy at the cost of ADS time. Pros adjust based on how they play. Players who pre-aim more tend to run the light stock. Players who rush keep the skeleton. The QQ9 10mm needs the 10mm mag. Without it, the gun is still solid, but it loses the 3-shot kill that makes it worth picking over the VMP. Same suppressor and stock options as the Switchblade X9. Across EU and Garena, pros are running the same builds you'd run in ranked. The differences come down to personal comfort and adjustments, not secret attachment combos. The gaps between these guns are in the base stats, not the loadouts. 3 guns, 3 identities, but only one is backed by data across every category that matters. If the VMP wins most gunfights and the QQ9 10mm kills fastest, why is everyone running the Switchblade X9? It's a comfort decision. The sprint speed, the strafe speed, the visual recoil pattern. The Switchblade X9 gives you the sensation of doing more, even when the numbers say you're doing less. One player picked it up, started moving faster than everyone else in the lobby, and the rest copied. In EU competitive, this plays out in real time. Teams running VMPs and QQ9 10mm against Switchblade X9 users see exactly what the data predicts. Most of the time, the VMP wins. The time to kill advantage holds. The ADS advantage holds. The Switchblade X9 user dies first, but not always. The Switchblade X9 has a 213 millisecond consistent time to kill from 0 to 13 meters every fight, no variance. The VMP's base time to kill at that range is 252 milliseconds. When the VMP user doesn't land a good shot mix for the faster potential kill, the Switchblade X9 punishes that. So the Switchblade X9 does steal fights. The problem is it only steals when the VMP user misses, and at competitive level, those players don't miss often enough for the Switchblade X9's consistency to outweigh the VMP speed. Most of the time, you're winning. Sometimes you get outgunned. That's not a meta pick. That's a coin flip dressed up as strategy. On the Garena side, the psychology is identical. Abyss and Flirt from Elite Titans Esports started on the VMP, had the muscle memory, saw the QQ9 10mm getting picked in scrims, tried it, went back to VMP, then pulled back to QQ9 10mm again because it kills faster. Their map process tells you everything. Wider maps like Hacienda, Arsenal, Takeoff, QQ9 10mm because the 3-shot kill reaches further. Smaller maps like Combine, Summit, they run the Switchblade because close quarters need bullet volume. The VMP, the gun that statistically beats the Switchblade X9 at almost every range, isn't even in the conversation. They're choosing between the QQ9 10mm and the Switchblade X9 like the VMP doesn't exist. When asked directly what looks strongest regardless of pick rate, the answer was feel and preference. Smoke spammers pick the Switchblade. Burst players pick the QQ9 10mm. Nobody is checking the spreadsheet. One SMG for the rest of this season, it's the VMP. In Respawn, nothing else gives you this package. 182 millisecond ADS, 52 round mag, the smoothest recoil in the class, and dominant time to kill at every meaningful range. You don't need to manage your ammo. You don't need to win fights in a 2-meter window. You ADS, you fire, you win. If you play Search and Destroy seriously, the QQ9 10mm earns its lot. 158 milliseconds in a mode where every engagement is isolated, and the mag never punishes you. On slow-paced maps, it demolishes everything in front of it. The Switchblade X9 is the gun you run when you value rotation speed over winning the fight at the end of the rotation. Every time you ADS against the VMP at the same range with the same timing, you lose. If you're going to use it for the sprint speed, not because a pro told you to. The competitive SMG meta isn't decided by data. It's decided by one pro trying a gun, another pro copying it, and everyone else following without ever checking the numbers. The Switchblade X9 got popular because it feels good. The QQ9 10mm got popular because it kills fast. The VMP, the gun that wins more fights at more ranges with more ammo and better handling, sits there ignored because nobody started the trend. The numbers don't care who picked first. And one more thing, the MX9 just got a damage and range buff in the latest patch. We don't have confirmed numbers yet, but it could enter this conversation soon. None of the other 3 guns were touched. The same data first approach we used here is how we ranked every utility in the game. If you want to see which equipment is actually worth running and which ones are wasting your loadout slot, that video is on screen right now.